I almost did the end broadcast instead of taking the thing off. Welcome everybody to Crossing the Streams. How are you? We're here to solve and answer the universal question: what should I be streaming next? You just finished something and now you got to watch something else. We've come to the right place. We got your back. We have 119 hours of streaming suggestions on our YouTube channel. Check those out. And right now, we're going to add 120th hour to it. But first, we got to kick off with the theme song. We got a special guest, friend of the show, Mick Manhattan. I'll let Mick kick off.
Oh,
hi, Mick.
Hey, who wants to go first? Is it me? Okay.
It's you.
Here's
buddy.
a story of some lonely fellows. And alas, come on, we got to change this. Who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
Oh, Marseille.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff, Ron, Sal, and Bob, and there's Marcy. They call it Crossing Streams.
Run.
And then to get up. Then one day they went live on all the platforms. You could hear the people laugh and shout and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform, but man, we crossed those streams. Here we go.
Oh, we
We
crossed
crossed
the
the
streams.
streams.
We crossed the
We
streams.
crossed
We
the
crossed the
streams.
We crossed the streams.
That's
That's
the
right.
way we crossed the streams. Da, da, da,
Da-da-da-da-da-da. Boom.
da.
Dun,
God,
dun,
now
dun.
I get it. I get variety shows of the 60s and 70s. Like, I get why everybody was so into them. Like, I took one gummy and I'm like, I want to sing more. What other dance songs have you sang?
You know why I had the idea for the theme song is because that Bob wrote the lyrics for is a lot of people when they were doing these live shows they do the 30-second countdown and so that people can stream in. So I'm like, well, that just drives me nuts because I felt in like the replays, who's gonna sit there for 30 seconds in this day and age? 30 seconds is like 5 hours, right? So it's like, I'm like, all right, well, I'll make something that it starts the beginning that doesn't matter if people miss. That kind of kills the same amount of time. So that's the origin of that. In case you looked like you were wondering.
No, listen, it's a good idea. It like brings down our guard and like you gets us all like into it.
Yeah. I'm usually on a gummy on this show.
Wow. Interesting.
I mean, as long as
I'm
being honest.
partial to Molly myself, but okay.
You just said Burning Man. I mean, come on, man.
I know.
Oh man, so it's so funny. Wait, let's see. We got some comments. We got some folks. Who we got? Oh,
Hi, Lee and Jerry.
What's
Hello,
up,
Lee and Jerry.
Hey,
And
Lee.
Lee, what's going on, Lee? How you guys
Good to see you
doing?
guys.
Ron trolling the show. Okay, so I got to say, this is not a full review or anything, but we rewatched season 3 of Ted Lasso. And so where I thought like it was some were great and some were, not as good. In a rewatch, when you can kind of remove that expectation layer where you're just so waiting. It is, I think, hey Audrey, it is by far one of the greatest shows ever. I mean, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I get choked up every time I watch it. Like, it's like, to me, that everything is just like so great. And I think they did land it pretty hard with season 3 in rewatching it. Sometimes you gotta.
I haven't seen the last episode yet.
The last
gosh.
episode's
I haven't
great.
seen the last episode yet. I don't know why.
It's so good.
It's so good.
That's a top 5 show for me.
So it's so funny you're talking about it, Jeff, because I'm rewatching it with my 15-year-old right now, and she's never seen the show before. So it's so great seeing it with somebody who's never seen it before, right? And just right before our show started, just now, she just yelled down for no reason whatsoever, "Football is life!"
That's awesome.
I didn't realize like what a player Danny was. In rewatching it, I noticed that he's
He's
always got two hot ladies on him. But it's it ends great. They did a really good job wrapping it up without fully wrapping it up. What I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like the rumor is that the book. Oh no, never mind. I don't want to. Don't want to
There's a
ruin it.
book?
But the rumor
Don't
is that
ruin
there
it.
is going to be another series, but it's just going to be a different series. Like they'll change
So
the name.
what is Jason Sudeikis up to right now? I don't even know.
I think he's spending a lot of money and buying whatever he wants to buy.
Yeah, well, there you go. That does make
He's-
sense.
I think that's what he's up to. I think
If they were to
Dating.
come back, he said he's done. Like
Mhm.
Ted Lasso,
his
they've
story's
closed him
done.
out.
His story's done, right?
I think he
Right.
just wants to go on to new things.
It's
He's
good.
got-
They can create. I think they set it up to create a different iteration if they need to and stuff like that. I do want to just humble brag for a second. I had my 250th episode.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Nice.
That's great, man.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
There you go.
Well,
Yeah.
So Burt Ward came back. I have my first kind of short episode, which airs tonight at midnight, 2:51. It's with Alex Winter. He was Bill S. Bill S. Esquire from Bill S. Preston Esquire from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't really talk. It was like kind of like my first press junket that I've ever done. So it was just me talking to him for 20 minutes about the YouTube Effect, which is a documentary that he did. So I've never really done that before, like where you just go in and you got 20 minutes go because you know what I mean. So I was like, because that's not the kind of the vibe of my show, but I really wanted to talk to Alex Winter.
yeah. That's awesome, man. That's really
That's
cool.
very
It's really
cool.
impressive. Really impressive.
Really cool.
So cool.
No
So-
wait, dude.
Way. What else? Never Have I Ever season 4. It's pretty good.
Mhm.
You got me into that show.
Are you watching the new season? I mean,
I-
the character.
Wait, never have I ever?
Yeah.
I'm done. Boom,
Oh,
boom.
did you finish this new season?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Don't tell me if she gets into Princeton or not.
Oh, my gosh. I thought for sure you would have finished it already, but you're
No,
too
you
busy
know what, we got
rewatching Ted
distracted.
Lasso,
Well, we were watching Mythic Quest and all that kind of
Right.
stuff. So
which I also started, I told you.
yeah,
I will tell you, the second season of The Bear is probably some of the best TV I've ever seen.
I need to finish that.
I think everyone talking about The Bear has convinced my wife to rewatch the first season. She bailed after a couple episodes, and not because it wasn't good. There's certain shows like I think The Bear, and it's a very high anxiety show. You know
I'm
what
like,
I mean?
where's the cocaine? There's no cocaine.
Well, you know what I mean. It's very like it's great, but it's you know what I mean. It's not a chill show. What's this? Anyone watch The Crowded Room?
Mm-mm.
Not yet. I've heard good things.
What is that? What is that on?
That's on Apple.
It's on Apple.
Okay.
Okay.
I was trying to
Oh.
figure out why I haven't watched The Bear. Sorry to go back to The Bear, but it's on Hulu, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm turned off to everything on Hulu. Just I don't know what it is. I just don't like it as a destination for me. Maybe I need to rethink that.
Well,
It's an
I-
FX show, but produced strictly for Hulu to be bingeable.
Got it.
Yo, why would you be totally against a channel?
You know what it is, and this is stupid. Maybe one of you guys can help me solve this. So I have the triple play from I think it's my cell phone, my Verizon, which gives me access to Hulu, but it's the commercial Hulu. So I have to, I can't. I've tried to pay for commercials, pay to get rid of the commercials, but it won't. You can't change the triple play with Verizon. There's no way to change it. So either I have to re-up for a whole nother service with Hulu, or just suck it up and deal with commercials. And it's
I
making me
deal
not
with
want to watch it.
commercials on Hulu.
Mm.
It's not-
Oh,
yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't even know there was a commercial-free version.
I
I
have
mean,
the
I mean, there's
commercial-free
people that
version.
have downgraded Netflix to get commercials, right?
Interesting.
So,
I'm actually thinking
but
about
I think
taking it.
there's two things on Hulu that I think are worth, which is one is The Bear, but then two is What We Do in the Shadows,
Oh, such a good show.
which the new season's coming out real soon. So you
Haven't
would
even
love,
heard of it.
I think you guys would love that.
Have you ever seen the movie, Jeff? The documentary?
You know, it's funny. I never was able to see the movie, so I started watching the show, and then I watched whatever the 3 seasons of the show, and then finally got access to the movie and started to watch the movie. Didn't like the movie. Couldn't watch it.
Really?
Well,
Oh man.
I do believe it's because of the order I wrote it. I think they
Yeah.
so improved on the concept of the movie with the TV show. When I went and watched the movie, it was like I was watching a lesser version of what I was watching, or like the rough version of what I was watching. And so I didn't enjoy it. But I'm sure had I seen it first, you know what I mean, then my perception would have been completely different of it, because I've never heard anyone not love the movie and then watch
Oh
the
my
show.
God.
So,
We're werewolves, not swear wolves. Everybody calm down.
it's but it is really great. Really great.
Yeah.
How I Met Your Mother and The Handmaid's Tale, those are my real Hulu shows. I still have not finished How I Met Your Mother. But
Ron's a Handmaid's Tale, so he's
Yeah,
alive.
yeah. No, I did watch Handmaid's Tale on Hulu, and you know what else I did watch on Hulu? To be fair, is I did watch the Das Boot series, which I reviewed here on Crossing the Streams, and it's excellent. It's excellent.
Excellent. You know what else is excellent?
Yeah,
The
let's
shows
check-
we're going to
check
talk
it out.
about today.
Yes.
But let's recap last week. American Murder, The Family Next Door, The Choice. Everyone's favorite. That movie became top 10 after this. And then Delete and Run Rabbit Run. Today,
Which you should also delete.
today we have Sailing SV Delos. Ron is diving into a YouTube channel. And we got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and Righteous Gemstones. All right, good stuff. Let's go with YouTube. Let's talk about Sailing SV Delos.
Yeah, and now I just have to ask you: have you guys ever seen this show on YouTube?
No.
No, never even heard of it.
So there is a new genre of channel on YouTube, and it's picking up steam. And these are action series, reality type shows that are designed to kind of get your attention by what they're doing. In this case, it's sailing, but there's a lot of other genres of this style for YouTube as well. But it's really character development, and it's believe it or not, even though it's reality television, it does an amazing job of being very human with what you're observing on this channel. In this case, this is Sailing SV Delos. Delos is the name of the ship, and this entire story centers around a guy named Brian Trotman from Seattle, and he didn't like corporate life. He worked for Microsoft for a little while, made a little bit of money, but not a lot, mortgaged everything he had to buy a sailboat, convinced his brother in 2009 to go sailing with him. And him and his brother sailed this thing up and down the Pacific Northwest and then down to Mexico, and would stop. They had no money, and they would stop at ports just to, clean ships and and do whatever they could to earn more money for fuel and for things to fix this ship. And it wasn't until 2014 that someone got the bright idea that, hey, this lifestyle is interesting. And with the advent and I think the momentum of the YouTube generation, they decided to start a channel on YouTube. And they decided to really invest in the storytelling of what their life is like on the sailboat. And by that point, the brother had left, and our friend Brian had taken on a fiance who he later married and then ultimately had a kid with, who also is on the boat for the latter part of this show. But they are fantastic storytellers. And yes, he meets their mother. And they go from port to port, and they suffer all kinds of terrible things that happen to them and some amazing things that happen to them, all in some amazing places all over the world. But it really isn't so much about the sailing. It's more about his life and about the choices he's made and about his kind of taking on a different philosophy about how he wants to live his life through the lens of sailing. And let me just pause there for 1 second just to say there's a lot of shows that are similar to this. I've seen similar shows with photography. I've seen shows with mountain climbing and people that there's a I don't know what SV means. I was wondering what that meant myself. Yeah, I don't know about Law and Order, but so listen, there's an amazing YouTube channel similar to this called Homemade Wanderlust, which is about this girl named Dixie who does through hikes on major trails all around the world, like the Appalachian Trail and whatnot. But what's different now about these types of shows is the how good the editing is and how good the storytelling is, as these people put themselves into these really hard situations, and we learn about their very human side of who they are and the mistakes they make and their own fallibilities. And it's really it's a very interesting show. Now, from a pure business standpoint, let me share with you, you social media freaks. Let me share with you that now Sailing SV Delos has more than 300 videos that they have created through this experience since 2014, and they average $17,000 of what do you call it, link revenue, and however Google translates views into revenue. You guys will be able to tell me more about that than I could. But they're averaging $17,000 per video. Do the math with 300 plus videos, and you're talking about millions of dollars they've made with this boat and with this storytelling that they're doing. They have currently 90,000 paid subscribers and millions of views every video. So it really is that, when I did my research for today's Crossing the Streams, when you look at some of the websites that are dedicated to commentary about this channel, that's how big this is. There's websites that give commentary about this YouTube channel. They talk about how this channel is king of the adventure genre of YouTube channels. So I don't know where they're going to go with this thing. I don't know what ultimately, if they're going to live the rest of their lives on this boat and they're just going to go year after year after year chronicling their lives. I don't know. I don't know if this has a future on network television or on Netflix or Hulu or any of the other ones. But in the meantime, I can tell you this guy made an absolute fortune living out his best life, his dreams, being human, making mistakes, and having people come along with him through excellent storytelling on the high seas on this boat. And I have to tell you, I can't help but admire the entire thing about this. Everything about it, I admire about it, because you get the sense that a guy like this had no other choices. Like, he was going to live his best life and either get rich or die living his best life on this boat. And I think he accomplished it. So it's a really interesting channel. I recommend starting from the very first video. I have watched an obnoxious amount of video. I have not watched all 300, but I've watched, usually 25 minutes, something like that.
You're watching advertisements. It's great. 3-4 advertisements.
It's a traditional YouTube channel, and
but you can't handle the Hulu commercial.
Yeah, but the 5 second and then click, I can do that. Right?
Are you watching it at one speed? Are you watching it at 1 speed or 2 speed?
Oh, good for you, man. I just watched the legitimate 1 speed. So it's I probably could. I don't know. That's a good point.
Speed it up a little bit.
I could, but anyway, I think it's worth checking out. I think it's a if nothing else, you guys, it is an absolute escape. Every single one of these videos. You do find yourself wondering what's going to happen this next video. They do tend to leave things with cliffhangers and interesting little things that you're hoping to kind of catch up on with the next video. They did not jump the shark with adding a kid, which, as we all know, in every great show, as soon as they enter a kid into the storyline, you've now officially jumped the shark. I actually think it's been pretty interesting with the kid on the show. So it's
but an infant. They introduced an infant on a boat.
Yeah. Okay. Which I'm going to just make the assumption right here and now was actually conceived on the boat, but let's not go into too much detail. So
we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Could mean sailing vessel.
Yeah, I'm sure it does mean sailing vessel. Yeah. So, but no, check it out. I'm really impressed by this. I'd be interested in your opinions, you get, particularly Mick and Jeff, about what you think about the editing and the actual video appeal of the channel. Because I too
would not be interested in Marcy's opinion.
I know. I'm like, well, see, what the hell? I used to edit. You don't know my editing capability.
I did not.
Marcy's the only one.
I majored in film.
Boats
I only
Marcy's the
said
one
that.
driving boats on
I am
Facebook.
a film major.
Well, then you
But
should.
that's cool.
You're probably better
That's
than
cool.
everybody. Then,
That's
no, that's cool. No,
Marcy's
I
a
just
film
meant it
major who
from.
has her own boat, but we
Do
don't
you have your
want
own
to hear
boat?
from.
That's a
I do have
successful
my
film
own boat.
major.
And you know what? Just because of that, I'm gonna have my own YouTube channel. I'm gonna edit the whole thing, and it's gonna be on a pontoon boat on Cass Lake, and I'm gonna have a baby on it.
There you
Wait till
should.
that episode.
Yeah,
Great.
Yeah.
Marcy's going to start a YouTube channel. It's going to have more subscribers in 3 days than mine still does.
Yeah. Well, I apologize, Marcy. I'm
That's
sure
okay.
I'm sure
I'm
you're
not
very
offended.
good at telling me what's wrong or right with these videos, but something's right with them because they have got a shit ton of subscribers and they're making a crap ton of money. So,
All
but
right.
Anyway,
So everyone take up sailing. That's
Okay.
the lessons here. I am interested in Ron and Mick's opinion of the Righteous Gemstones, but I guess we'll let Marcy review.
Whoa. What was that? Ron, are you a fan of this show, Righteous
no,
Gemstones?
he was making fun of me
Oh,
with what he just
okay.
said. So,
Okay.
no,
I see. Okay.
keep going. Yeah.
I always have to ask, has anyone else seen The Righteous Gemstones?
I've seen it. It's a good
Okay.
season or so.
Okay. No? Mick? Ron?
I have
No?
not yet, but
I have
I'm
not.
basing whether I'm going to go see this and a sailing video off of both of your cells. So let's do this.
So this is on Max. Once was on HBO Max. It is an HBO show, and I am a huge fan of Danny McBride. This is a Danny McBride show, which means it is hilarious. I just think that everything he does is great. I've recently seen Pineapple Express like maybe 3 times very recently, and every time he's on, I just can't stop laughing. So let's talk about the Righteous Gemstones. The Gemstones are a TV, mega rich, mega church TV evangelist family with John Goodman plays Eli Gemstone, Dr. Eli Gemstone. He plays actually Danny McBride's father. He is the head of this mega church, and he has 3 children who are spoiled brats, and they are played by, once again, Danny McBride, and then Adam Devine. You guys know him from Pitch Perfect and from Modern Family. He's hilarious. So he plays the youngest brother, and then the sister, Judy Gemstone, is played by Edie Patterson, and she, if you don't know who she is, if you don't watch Danny McBride shows, you probably don't know who she is. She is hilarious. I mean, she's up there with Penny Marshall, and I mean, like total slapstick, physical comedy, really, really, really funny and raunchy, and I just love her. I want to go back and just mention HBO shows with Danny McBride, Eastbound and Down. Did you guys see that? Or maybe Vice Principals. I'm a Vice Principals fan. So if you've seen Vice Principals, great. You'll know that Walton Goggins, I never know his name. Walton Goggins was in Vice Principals with Danny McBride. He was the other Vice Principal. Did you guys maybe see that one? I mean,
Yeah.
really funny shows. Okay.
Great show.
So they're all in Righteous Gemstones. So if you remember how funny Vice Principal was, this is just as funny. It was only 2 seasons, Vice Principals. We're just starting the 3rd season of Righteous Gemstones, but I don't know. Vice Principals is probably one of my top shows. I just absolutely love that one. But in any case, Walton Goggins plays the brother-in-law of John Goodman's. His name is Baby Billy, and this is just a very sarcastic, religious show about this very rich family who, in season 1, Danny McBride's character, Jesse, gets blackmailed. He opens up his phone one day and finds a very bad video that someone secretly took of him and his friends partying up in like Vegas with strippers and cocaine and all these things that you would expect a mega rich pastor to be doing on their own time. So the whole season is about who's blackmailing him and how he and his brother and sister are going to put a stop to this, and they're not going to pay him, and they can't be embarrassed in front of the world because they're known around the world as being this amazing religious family, loved by all. So anyway, it is one of the best. I mean, I don't know. All right. So this is what I'm going to tell you. I have seen the first episode probably 10 times, and this is why. If I'm at your house and you tell me that you have not seen Righteous Gemstones, I'm going to make you play season 1, episode 1, which means I'm about to see it for the 11th time and you're about to see it for the first time. And then I leave, and then you call me later and you say, oh my God, I just binge watched the whole season and I can't wait to watch the second season. It is that funny. And I can tell you right now, if Audrey Khan is still here, I did that to her. I made her watch it, and she's probably past me already in season 3. It is just so. I'm just going to tell you how it opens up. The Gemstones are out of the country doing the largest baptism ever done, the world record of baptizing the most people at one time. And it turns out that they're in a wave pool. And all of a sudden, somehow the waves get turned on and they're performing their religious ceremony, baptizing all these. I think they're in Asia, a part of Asia. I don't remember where they were. And if you can only imagine a baptism with waves, it is hilarious. So that's season 1. That's how they get you. And you will not be disappointed if you continue watching. It's just ridiculous. It is dirty, and it is, it's adult humor for sure. But I promise you will laugh out loud. You will definitely binge watch. This isn't, I need a break. I can only watch a couple at a time. This is, let's watch another one. We need to watch another one. We need to watch one because it is so much fun.
How long are these episodes?
30 minutes or less. So they're not long, easy peasy. And it's just, just Danny McBride. He only wanted 2 seasons on Vice Principals, but he has said that he wants this to go longer. It was a long time. 2019 was the first season. We waited a while for season 2. So between season 2 and season 3 was pretty quick, and that's his goal. He wants this to last a little bit longer. He's it's not Jason Sudeikis, he really loves this show. They all do a great job. John Goodman is great in it. I mean, he's just wonderful. I don't know. I just freaking laugh my ass off on every episode. I really love it. And I hope you guys all have Max and try it out. Because I'll tell you right now, once you watch that first episode, you will be hooked.
All right. I'm
Oh,
gonna
I
watch
got
it.
anything else I had to say about it? I think I nailed it all.
I think you
Hold
know
it well.
You
I've
nailed it.
I've watched about a season. The dynamic between Danny, Eddie, and Edie and Adam, the siblings, it's sort of a succession.
Oh, Succession.
It's sort of a succession
It is.
theme. There, John Goodman's the leader of this
Mhm.
church, mega church.
Did you
And
read that in an article, or did you come up with that yourself?
I watched it.
Okay, I'm just saying because I read that today,
Okay.
a whole article on how they compared it to Succession.
I will say that if you go back over a year when I reviewed Succession, I said my wife akined it to Arrested Development. And
Okay.
then in this final season, everyone was putting out TikToks comparing it to Arrested Development. But we broke that here on the show.
Oh.
No, it's just that's what it is. That's the whole show. Is just
Yeah.
them trying to take over the church. They all want to take over the church. The 3 of them, the sibling rivalry between the 3 of them is hilarious and kind of one of the main things of the show. John Goodman, I'm happy he lost the weight, but he looks weird. You know what I mean? He look, but
You're not my King Ralph.
But yeah, it's funny, and like all the characters are over the top. It's definitely
over the top.
worth checking out and diving into it, especially if you like Danny McBride for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he is just. I love this. I would love to see him do something else too. I mean, he can't do anything wrong in my eyes. I just crap up.
That you obviously haven't seen the Land of the Lost movie. All right, let's move on.
I have not.
There
Is
you
he
go.
in that?
That might be a miss. Yeah.
Danny McBride is, yeah.
All right, let's do Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones Returns in the Dial of Destiny. Mick's going to take this. I saw it as well, so I'm going to
All right.
shadow
So
you on this one.
our 5th installment in Indiana Jones movies, The Dial of Destiny. It's a return 15 years after Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. We all know what that did. Although I maintain that's still a watchable movie, good in times. But I already fixed that movie. That's over on my channel. You can check that out. But but we're over 30 years since The Last Crusade. Was so excited to hear that this movie was coming out. I was very excited to hear that it's James Mangold, who, in my opinion, has no misses as a director. I think he's an amazing director. This is the one thing I really liked about this franchise is that it told the story the right way. You know, when you watch Temple of Doom, a lot of people didn't know it. They all know it now because of the internet, but that's a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And he's a lot younger, more brash, even though he's doing his best acting. He's not quite the Indy we know in Raiders yet. And I loved that corresponds throughout every single one. You know, the dynamic of the father and son in Last Crusade versus, again, this father and son in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which brings us to this installment. Finally, Indy has to deal with being out of time. And this movie represents that perfectly. Indy is an old man who's washed out from the adventurous lifestyle and everything he's done to help his country, to help the world. And he is officially out of it. Time has taken too much from him. Yeah, I'm going to leave some spoilers alone, but like people he really cares about are gone. And he's just living now. He's living this mundane life. How does Indiana Jones lead this mundane life just trying to get to retirement? So he's thrust back into it. And the entirety of this is he has to get a relic with his goddaughter, the same relic that drove her father insane. And he wound up killing himself. Now he's back. They have to go find it. And it is all about time. It is all about teaching Indy about what ultimately every adventure was truly about, who he truly is. And it was just truly fantastic to see this final addition to such a great franchise. You know, we see a lot of things happen throughout it. But, you know, when you watch a franchise, like you watch Star Wars, or you watch, you know, take your pick, the characters never really seem to age properly. You know, even the way they're acting, they're trying to always capture the magic of the first one. No, Harrison Ford absolutely gets this character from beginning to end. He knew exactly what they were making each time and how Indy should act in each one. A lot of people are complaining that he's too old for this. I'd say actually watch it and learn the story because that's the whole point. But that's just me. I mean, you can have old actors. I don't know why everybody hates them for some reason. But Dial of Destiny, I thought, was a perfect way to close this out, especially with such a bad... Oh, God. There you go. Anyway, I say as an Indy fan, this was the right one. Perfect amount of adventure. In my opinion, it's the second best told story in the franchise. I think Raiders, of course, is the first one because that is untouched. That still is such a different movie from anyone we've gotten in the franchise since. And because they never knew how to recapture what they had there, it always became more popcorn with each passing one. This one actually, yeah, it's a blockbuster movie, or was supposed to be when it came out. It will make its money back. I will say that. It's going to make its money back, so everybody stop crying about that. But as we are going, like it was a really well told story that centered on Indy and not, you know, everything else and all the other side characters or young sexy characters they could bring into it.
I love your perspective. I have a slightly different point of view on it, and let me just say I didn't hate the movie. Okay, but let me also say that everything that you so endearingly just said and did honestly make me rethink maybe my perspectives is kind of what disappointed me about the movie. So, you know, let's take, for example, the new Mission Impossible movie, right? That's
Great,
coming
just
out
saw
right
it
now.
today.
It's the seventh one. It was good, right?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Okay, so did he act depressed and need to be pulled out of anything to decide to go save the world, or did he just fucking go at it? Okay, I guess so. My point is, here we are. We have the fourth Indiana Jones movie. The fifth Indiana Jones movie. The fourth one was so bad. I tried to rewatch it, Mick. I really did. I couldn't
Yeah.
even rewatch it for free on cable. It was that bad and painful. But let me also say, Raiders is one of the greatest movies ever, and I think The Last Crusade is just as good. I mean, I love it. It's one of my favorite movies ever. And I think one of the reasons you can't recapture that magic is because in real life, people only have that thing one time, right? So to go like, oh, he's gonna have this magical adventure every time we happen to bump into him, you know what I mean? That in itself isn't. So that's why it's so hard. That's why it's hard to have a sequel to a comedy, you know, because it was funny. You can't. What was funny was what you watched. It's like it's not gonna happen again. You know what I mean? It's just anyway. So to me, like to find Indiana Jones old and old and tired and kind of you know, and like to me they should have gone the other way. Like they should have been like embraced that he was old and made him this badass old guy, kind of like how Liam Neeson is just this aging freaking action star that's still kicking ass, right?
Or like a Clint Eastwood or
Clint, right? So I mean, I would have loved to seen him go out so strong and start strong. There's no reason. I don't need Indy to have a reason not to be Indy and just go and then figure out how to be Indy again for me because I happen to be watching this movie that you made, right? I mean, just like the whole 25-minute flashback where everyone's talking about the de-aging. Why did you spend 25 minutes of a movie to de-age the guy? The whole point is that he's 80 doing this character. Do some badass, I'm 80 Harrison Ford kicking ass 80-year-old Indiana Jones 25-minute sequence, because honestly, the beginning of that movie, you could literally take it out of the movie, start the movie right when it ends, and you don't need even that 25 minutes. You really don't. It doesn't do anything except kind of mention the little time device that then they kind of do, but it's, you know, you don't really learn anything about it till later anyway. So I don't.
I agree. I just want to point out one thing though, like with the agent, like the de-aging scene. Yeah, you could have taken or leaving it, but because of where Indy's at, and it is a timely thing, and I don't want to give away spoilers. That's why, you know, for him to be where he's at in this miserable waiting for retirement, some devastating things do happen to him to cause him to be that way, to not be Indiana Jones anymore, and it just took time to pass by where he just accepted sort of where he was. I agree that isn't Indy, but when that turn happens and he gets pulled back into it, one of the most unbelievable things for me in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was that he was so easy to go out. In fact, he was the more eager one to go out on the adventure, and Mutt was the one that was like, "Okay, I'm the silly sidekick," you know. Whereas I thought it would have been better as he got older and as he was watching everyone that he cares about die over time, you know.
Right, but is that what when you were daydreaming of your Indiana Jones, when you and your son were rewatching all the movies, were you like, and then you're gonna go to see Dial of Destiny, where you're like, I hope he has a thing of conscience and that he's too old to even get up from his frickin' recliner, but then he becomes Indy again. That's not what you were hoping for. You were hoping for some slam bam, you know.
But I got that with the de-aging scene.
Yeah, but
I got that. I got the slam bang young Indy going on and it looked better than the Irishman ever could or any of the other.
Well,
de-aging.
the technology is, I think, more advanced now, and they have tons. You know, they probably had tons and tons of footage they could use. But James Mangold, he may be good at those other movies, but I don't think he was good at making an Indiana Jones movie. When I watch if you rewatch Raiders of the Lost Ark and, you know, any really of a Last Crusade, like there's some kind of like cleverness to the action, right? Like when Marion gets kidnapped in that thing and Raiders, and they like all of a sudden you're like looking left but you didn't look right and the thing comes out, you know, whatever it is, there's like that Spielberg magic where it was just like you
Yeah.
never really knew what you were watching because something crazy always happened. And that was I'm sitting there watching Dial of Destiny, and I'm like, it's a fine action scene, but none of that was there. None of what makes an indie thing that. And to me, then I'm just watching an action scene. I'm not watching like a Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones thing that to me was sort of like one of the signatures of these movies. So I thought Phoebe was fine. I thought, it's the back, I mean, the ending, I don't know. Some of the stuff was like a lot of the plot. I
like your
could talk
take.
about the plot points and like things that were happening and how I thought it was like, I don't get it at all. But it's. But again, I didn't hate it, but I left thinking this. If Spielberg actually had done this exact same movie, probably would have been 1,000 times better.
I don't know about that. Remember Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Well, but I'm just saying. I think
nuke the fridge, man. Nuke the fridge.
It wasn't a bad idea. I think the fridge gets a bad rap. Nobody really knows. They're just assuming that fridge when.
I think I'm gonna give every movie, every story 3 movies, and then I'm done. So these franchises, I don't get involved. I didn't even think I knew there was a 4th, and now there's a 5th, and I'm never gonna see them. I'm thinking of all these movies, and I'm like 3. I'm good with 3. I saw all 3. I mean, I remember I saw opening night, I think, for the first 2, maybe the 3rd, and now I'm done. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of more people out there that kind of feel the same way. And so these franchises, I'm not in.
It's funny. I talked about that last night on my podcast, and that's franchise fatigue and how it's all cyclical coming around. But I think after Endgame sort of ended and we got the finality of that story and characters that we loved were gone, people were just tired, and we were still getting franchise after franchise, not just Marvel. Everything's a franchise now.
Yeah.
And people are tired of it. They're like, why do we have to keep following this story? We're not getting anything new or original.
Star Wars, loved the first 3. Then I saw Jar Jar Binks, and I'm like, we're leaving, right? And I saw that at the midnight. Remember, we saw it at midnight, so that was like the opening day. Did anyone else do that?
Oh, yeah.
Did you do that for Indiana Jones?
I took off work and took my entire work to see Phantom
And I
Menace.
I was too tired. I was miserable. And that I'm just done. I'm 3 movies. You get 3, and I'm done.
Well, like with Star Wars, I think the problem was they went backwards. I have like a whole thing where these, I call them family home movies. You know what I mean? It's like where you know the stories, you know what happened, and then and they're fine, but then they go and they put them in. They actually make the movie and have to match your expectations versus just go forward.
The old people hate going on in the comments.
Ron, you obviously didn't see the movie. This was a scene.
I haven't seen it. I feel bad. I feel bad for him. I don't want to go see it and just feel bad for him.
He's fine.
I mean, he's fine. It's just it's just certain things about there's I mean, if you like movies with no tension and plots that don't mean anything, and then this is for you.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm thinking I'm going to give Indiana Jones a reverse mortgage.
I do. I'm not saying don't go. I'm not saying don't go see it. By the way, I'm saying go see it, and I bet when I watch it at home, I'll love it. You know what I mean? Like I feel it's almost like the opposite. I will say I watched Guardians again and did not like it nearly as much as when we saw it the first time. It just seems like a hot mess. And then on the second viewing, I enjoyed it because I love the characters, but as a movie, as a cohesive movie, I don't know.
But where do you think Indy gets his catheters?
His catheter. Oh, Jerry. Oh gosh. All right.
He's on a roll.
Cherries on the roll.
Cherries on a
So,
roll.
but I mean, everyone should go see Indiana Jones. I mean, it's like my wife loved it. You know what I mean? I didn't. I know some people did, some people didn't. It's, I think you should go see it. I think it's one of those movies that'll probably play over time, and maybe it's the same thing as my Ted Lasso season 3, where I just need to see it again. I just went in with too many expectations, and maybe just need to see it again. So
Fair.
cool.
Okay, good.
Awesome.
All right.
Nice review.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Guys.
I mean, what am I watching right now? I'm trying to think of all the things. I did see Dead Reckoning. I'm not going to give anything away, but go see it.
I heard a rumor that, maybe it wasn't even a rumor, that they filmed, I mean, it's not a spoiler because it's where he rides the motorcycle off the cliff, but they filmed that first to make sure
he
that
died.
Yeah.
Is that true? In case he died, that's why they wanted
Well,
to.
they said it differently. They said we filmed it first to know if we were going to keep going with the movie.
I mean,
Can we?
That was the quote. But.
So I need you guys to talk me off a cliff for a second because I'm 2.5 seasons into Succession, and I just have to tell you, I'm kind of close to tapping out.
I tapped out for a long time.
Join us. I can't watch it.
I'm tired of it. It's not going anywhere. It's the same characters brooding on about the same things over and over. I'm not rooting for anybody. I just they're all kind of pricks.
Excuse me, you're describing Succession. I mean, you're definitely getting the right vibe of the show. It's not like, what am I missing? I mean, you literally just described the show.
I need you to talk me off the cliff and
we've all been on that cliff and we all jumped.
I did not jump. I love Succession. Succession, like, if I was on vacation, we would stop and watch the new episode.
I watched the first season, and when they Chappaquiddick the end, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I like left it for like 2 years, and I came back and I watched the second and third when the fourth was ready to come out. And I'm still like, this is just drivel. I hate every character on this. None of them deserve anything good. So I hate watched the fourth season.
Oh,
just to make sure.
It's all hate watching, but it was good. It was a good hate watch.
But when I watched
they're not likable characters at all. I mean,
no.
I will say, Ron, I am not sure how digestible it is to binge Succession, because I will say that, like I would say to my wife, I'm glad they're ending the show because literally nothing different happens. It's always the same arc, and then they repeat the same thing, and then they repeat the same thing.
Exactly.
So,
no character.
So watch it back to back to back.
Idiots.
Yeah.
But Macaulay Culkin's great. There's a lot of good acting in it.
Not Macaulay, the other one.
I'm sorry,
Kieran
Culkin.
Yeah,
I watched Ted Lasso all 3 seasons right after Succession ended because I just needed to wash the dirtiness of that stupid show off of me.
Okay, so you guys are not watching this, but Sex in the City, I'm a huge fan of, and I watched through every season. And your wives, girlfriends, whatever, probably watched it also. But this. And Just Like That is what I'm watching right now, and it's painful. I mean, I'm like,
Robin
I'm pressing.
Watches it.
I was gonna. Okay, so it is not. There's no way she's loving it. It is painful, and I'm pressing. How many more minutes are left? How many more minutes? And my son actually, he's like, "Why are you making yourself watch this?" And I just don't know. It's horrible.
My wife loves Sex and the City so much. The first time we went to New York a million years ago, we literally ate at every restaurant that was on Sex and the City. Like, that's how we picked where we ate. And we literally actually in one of them sat where Sarah Jessica and Michelle and Mikhail, whatever, the dancer guy, the Russian dancer, like sat in that restaurant. And so, like, I mean, she was like trivia.
I'm very curious. Is she enjoying this?
Oh, no, she hates it. And I sit and watch some of it because sometimes I'll just crash on the couch and watch some of it. I'll tell you what. I don't, when people go, oh, don't go woke, you'll go broke, all that kind of bullshit, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff. However, the actual definition of that is this Sex and the City reboot.
Yeah, you are correct.
100%. One day they will go, what did it mean to go woke? And they'll play, all right, we're going to play season 1 and season 2.
And Just Like That.
and
Just like that. You
And
know what? It's funny. We talked about commercials. I've never wanted a commercial so badly during a show.
I mean,
Just don't want to
it is.
air a
It's like
commercial. It's painful.
they ruined every one of those characters. They,
Yeah. You're right. You're right. That's totally what's going on. But by the way, I will finish it. I will finish it.
Oh, she's going to too. Because you know what? You got to hold out. Aiden's coming.
Is he? Oh, and I haven't seen Kim Cattrall yet. I need to see Kim.
She's
Cattrall.
like only in like the last second of the last.
I thought she boycotted it or something.
No,
No,
they
they
must have
brought
paid
her-
her a fortune because
Okay.
she wasn't even in the room with any of them. It's like on the phone or something.
Well,
It wasn't supposed to leak, and it leaked. So.
Hmm.
I
That's
think,
so
and then they announced her new TV show. So clearly, there was a
Glamour. Glamour.
Clearly, there was a deal.
Is
still
it
pretty- she's still
Big
pretty
Trouble in
sensitive.
Little China too? Because if not, I'm out. I don't care.
Yeah, but the original Sex and the City was a fun show.
Turk 182.
I mean, it's no Porky's, but it's pretty good.
Or Mannequin.
Was she in Porky's?
Yeah, she was
She
Lassie.
did. Yes.
She was a
Mick,
screamer.
didn't you do a review on Porky's?
I have not. No.
No,
Okay,
we
somebody
should.
did it. Somebody
Is
did
that your
it.
next choice?
I don't think we did that. She was also in Star Trek, and I think
Wasn't
Star
she in
Trek-
Police Academy?
Was she in Star Trek 2 or 3?
Yep.
One of those.
She was in Star Trek. Wait, Amy Control was in Star Trek
or 4. It
4.
was 4.
No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't 4.
Yeah. Well, she was the evil Vulcan. Wasn't that 4?
No, that wasn't 4. That was
Wasn't Search for Spock.
3, I think.
No, 3 was Saavik,
It wasn't
but
Khan.
it wasn't Kirstie Alley.
Because it was Kirstie Alley and Khan.
Was
Right.
she in 3?
Oh, The one I can't. Robin, I think her name is. You interviewed on your show who played Kirstie Alley's character in.
No, I
Search
didn't
for Spock.
interview her, but
Then it has to be 6. It has to be Undiscovered Country.
yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good career.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I host a Star Trek rewatch show.
Yeah, it was Star Trek 6, and she was a mannequin. I think the original mannequin.
Yep.
Yes, Jerry said that.
She was in a lot of stuff back in the day.
She's had a great career, and she's still, doing great. I just watched her in a different show that I might have talked about.
Mannequin, very problematic.
A lot of trouble.
We did review that one. And it's very problematic.
But
Who's the guy in that from
Andrew
who's the
McCarthy.
Andrew McCarthy,
Rat
that's
Pack,
right.
yeah.
And James Spader's in it. James Spader.
Oh,
plays the
wow.
bad guy.
Well, James Spader and Andrew McCarthy have a lot of movies together, don't they?
Yeah.
they were
Pretty in Pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and Ice Princess. Don't forget Ice Princess. She was there.
Who could forget Ice Princess?
Princess.
So, all right, fabulous. All right, well, thank you guys. Mick, remind
That's
everyone
great.
where everyone can find you.
Just type in the Scene Snobs. We're on YouTube. We got podcasts on all podcast platforms. Check them out. We just try to have fun and entertain. So if you guys enjoy that, please jump on into the Snob Nation. We got a Discord. We got everything. So please, we'd love to have you. Go to thescenesnobs.com. We got links there.
Sweet. Marcy, say goodnight.
Good night, everyone.
Ron, say goodnight.
Good night, boys and girls. It was great being on the show again.
Well, it's great having you on the show again. Were you gone? No, I'm just kidding. All right. Well, thanks, everyone, and we'll see you next time. And that has
Bye.
been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow the Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and the Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.